Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, Kemi Talks Live, April 10th, 2025. Yesterday I was talking about my siblings. I spoke about Oyeleke Olunloyo, my brother who was 17 and was killed in a drunk driving accident where he was a pedestrian. And the driver hit 5 people, and only my brother died. My brother went immediately into a coma. They rushed him to the hospital. He was brain dead. And when Oyeleke died, there were a lot of fights. My mom accused my dad of sacrificing him. The death was just so painful. And I just saw this whole thing, evolving all the time around my father. When Oyeleke left, my dad would be telling everybody the story of how the car broke down 5 times, they came back home 5 times, like all these ridiculous stories. And some of you are saying online that if I knew my father was diabolic and took my siblings to the ritualist, why did I send my child for holiday? No, you don't get it. I didn't know then. If I knew, I wouldn't have sent my child. I'm not that stupid. Okay, so get that part together. Some of you are arguing about fortification, that parents in Yoruba land have to fortify their children when they're going abroad. When we went abroad, okay, we were 18 years old and we didn't have any family. I raised myself abroad. I literally was there alone with my sister. We weren't fortified. What does that mean? All I know is you pray. Pray on your children, pray at the airport, and pray at home, and always pray for them. So the argument in the comments was like, because the comments are so viral, I can't reply everybody. I can't even reply again. This whole thing, and somebody went crazy in the comments and blasted the person that talked about fortification, saying that, what kind of fortification? What the hell do you mean? What the fuck? Politicians do this all the time. They use their children and suck up their energy and everything. Okay, that's what I'm accusing my father of, right? It's not like when he died, I started saying it. I called my father on his 80th birthday out. So you can go see the tweets on Twitter. Where was that? 2015? On his 80th birthday, Omololu Olunloyo at 80. I exposed everything he was doing with rituals. The exposure was so massive. The whole thing was trending, and then he went to Adeboye and became a born-again Christian. I did not like the fact that my dad, who was an academic genius, had now started mingling around Aderonke. They're going to ritualist every day. I mean, they're going to Obasanjo's house, Hilltop, and then they go to Ibefun. Everybody was just doing rituals left, right, and center as politicians. So it was that same year that Oyeleke apparently followed my dad somewhere and another sibling. I can't tell you who that sibling is. They drank human blood. I'm going to say it one more time because some of you are already transcribing it. When they came home, I don't know what the rule was. I don't know whether there were some restrictions not to tell anybody, but my brother Oyeleke told my mom. And when he told my mom was very angry. What kind of nonsense is that? Why did you take him? My mom wasn't supposed to know, but Oyeleke told mom, and this boy was getting ready to go to school in England. What he always waited for. This boy did not know any mathematics. He always failed at District College of Kwara State. Some of his classmates are watching this video and they're 43 years old. At that time, they were all 17. My father would teach Oyeleke math like the way my father taught mathematics to us. The teachers couldn't even catch up. The teachers didn't understand who was teaching this. We all were excelling in that subject. And that's why I was a pharmacist, calculating drug doses, everything by head. I mean, people would shoot each other in Baltimore, and then the helicopter would bring one victim, an ambulance, another victim, and within seconds of when they're coming, they radioed the hospital, and the pharmacy is told to prepare IVs, and all we need is the patient's weight. How old is that patient and how big are they, so that we can prepare the right IV? Off my head. That's why they don't allow calculators in the board pharmacy exams. And that exam I got 99, second highest score in Maryland. And I cannot see anything more than attributing it to the father that taught me mathematics. Okay, I miss my father. He just made a lot of mistakes. He took us from the top to the gutter. We did not have money. We were not rich like the Otedolas or the Dangotes, but we were elites. We were academic elites. A lot of the rich want to be like the elite, okay? And we don't have as much money as them. The Adelikes shattered that and the Dangotes because the Dantatas are rich, okay? But they're also elites in Nigeria. The same thing with the Otedolas, they also shattered that. The Otedola were elites until the man got all these diesel and oil contracts for Femi, and Femi became rich, as in a rich person. Before you hear Femi's name in international world, they say, oh, he's a rich businessman. You don't really think of him as an elite, but they came from an elite family. And the same with the Adelikes. The Adelikes were elite family. And then when the oil block, the Babangida gave DJ Adeleke, they became rich. So you see the difference between the rich and the elite in Nigeria. Some of them have actually fused the whole term. We were academic elites. Daddy went to start dating my sister's classmate in staff school, that they walked to school. The Shona kids lived behind her house in UI, Aminawe. Ironically, that's where Ronke grew up. And Yemi and Ronke used to walk to school together. And Ronke turned out to be my dad's wife when everybody grew up later, and the way she came in. And I keep telling you, it's not about polygamy. It's just about how daddy just went down to the gutter and ruined the marriage. Imagine my mom didn't have all these marital issues, and it was just my dad and mom, 85 and 90. Imagine. Their birthdays were celebrated together when dad was 75 and mom was 70. Everything was sour all the way, but by the time Benga became older, like all of us, and we all integrated, we could have been a wonderful family. But everybody was into juju. My mother joined them, and when it didn't work out, they all broke up. At the end of the day, the whole thing that happened at that ritualist for fortification was that 6 weeks later, Oyeleke died in that pedestrian accident. And the minute I heard my mother say he sacrificed, and then my dad also said my mom killed Oyeleke, that she was a witch. I heard all this and I started recording them. I have piles of stuff inside my laptop. I recorded them because they needed to be. They were not for public consumption on social media. But I know one day I will post them. One day I will use that information. Anyway, my other unnamed anonymous sibling who also drank the blood was supposed to make that person stronger, more successful. When my mother was yelling at my dad and said, he mentioned Ayabami and me. My brother is a pastor in London, an engineer, everything, Cambridge graduate. My mom said, do you dare take Ayabami and Kemi to go and drink blood? I looked at my mom and said, I will post it on Facebook. They knew who to take and use. My dad and Ronke knew who to take and use. That sibling of mine contracted HIV and has been HIV positive for over 25 years now. That sibling takes medicine every day, 12 to 14 drugs a day. My sibling is like Magic Johnson, those ones that they live abroad, they take HIV medicine because they have access to it, and they're doing fine, they're going to work, they're moving on with their lives. All because you went to go and drink blood at a ritualist. Daddy. The trauma I'm explaining to you guys now. I have this filter on TikTok. It's like I want to take it off now, but once you start recording, you can't remove a filter. A lot of my trauma is about crying for my own siblings because what they did to them terrorized me and traumatized me. They're in my DM, one of my siblings, the one that has HIV. Kemi, how are you? They're watching everything. They see all the media coverage. They can't talk like me. And then I read stories about how great my father was to the world.